On the issue of universals, everything common, for example, it is easiest to consider the genera of living beings from the point of view of the Christian faith and the Christian philosophy that follows from it exists quite realistically, but not in itself, but in specific hypostases. Catness exists, and the common human essence, nature, also exists. It is not a mental abstraction as nominalists believe, and not an accidental temporary link in an eternally evolving protocell, as modern unscrupulous scientists believe, passing off their quasi-religious nominalistic views as science. And it is not even what Plato and Aristotle imagined, relying only on their observations and conjectures, and not on the truth of revelation. Although both of them came close to the truth in their reflections, making this path, so to speak, from different sides. A completely different picture emerges if we take into account that the world was created by a personal triune and coessential God, and not by some impersonal force or arose by itself. 1. The eternal plan of God about the world to be created, which St. Maximus the Confessor calls creative logoi, ideas, thoughts, verbs, etc. This Greek word has many meanings. Determines both everything common that unites the world and all its divisions. Each nature common to all creatures of one kind is the result of the realization of such a creative plan. The common nature is determined by the common logos of nature, but it is realized in specific hypostases, individual representatives of this nature having their own trope, image, mode of existence. Thus, it turns out that the cattish nature quite really exists in each specific cat, and the single human nature is realized in each specific person. This common nature is unchangeable, therefore, although its individual representatives may have some differences in the way of existence depending on the circumstances of birth and life, and for rational beings and possible differences in the aspiration of the will to be good or evil. But they cannot transgress the limits of their nature, turning into something else, from an ape-like ancestor into a person, for example. 2. Since man is created in the image of God, he is also given creative ability, although limited in comparison with God. So, for clarity, we can draw a similarity with human creativity. We also create an engineering project, or the simplest idea in our imagination, before creating anything. This project is realized in the creation of the thing itself. We also first design a general idea of an automobile, a ship or an airplane, laying down various design principles. Then we draw up a project for a specific ship or airplane and embody them in a specific product. We, of course, do not possess the omnipotence of God. Our word cannot immediately become a deed. Our creative process is divided into separate stages. Also, we cannot create out of nothing, but are only capable of transforming what has already been brought into being by God, in accordance with the laws of everything that exists already set by God. Nevertheless, there are many similarities between our creative process and God's creativity. Therefore, it is intuitively clear to us that at the basis of every work, there must be a concept that determines the properties of a thing, and we can easily, seeing the amazing complexity of the world around us, guess that behind this superbly harmonious, finely tuned work, there must be a creator who surpasses all our ideas. The world, created by God from nothing, can be likened to the work of an artist if it were drawn on water. As long as the artist continues the same movement of the brush, say, draws a circle, the work exists, but as soon as he takes away his brush, everything returns to non-existence. Likewise, God also maintains his creations in existence if we keep in mind that he does not create from already available materials as we do. He only has to take away his almighty hand, and all creation returns to its non-existence.